Hi, comrades. So, I'd like to talk for a bit about the role and necessity of active and veteran military in the socialist revolution. I know that this causes a lot of knee jerk reactions to the contrary, right? And I get it. Although I now consider this an ultra leftist attitude, for years I've taken a stance that the soldiers of the imperialist army are a lost cause. They're baby killers, as we often call them. They murder workers, especially poor brown workers around the globe. And for decades, I've held nothing but animosity towards the idea of including them or even appealing to them to join our revolutionary organizations and parties. However, as a Marxist Leninist, we have to deal with the material reality, things as they are, not how we want them to be. And that reality is that despite our emotions, our feelings towards soldiers for their role and participation in imperialism and the death and destruction that it causes, we need these soldiers. And this is in line with Marxist Leninist theory. We not only need their minds and bodies, but we without a doubt need their technical skills to use what the imperialists have taught them to teach us, to turn their own weapons back on them. We also need their access to other members of the military and families, inner knowledge of the U.S. military, and intel they would bring to our side, the side of workers, of farmers, of students, and regular people. Now, let's take a look at one piece in which Lenin discusses soldiers and why we need them. The work by Lenin is titled A Grievous Departure from the Principles of Democracy. It was published in Pravda on May 25th, 1917. Lenin states, "The participation of soldiers in the militia tends to tear down the wall separating the army from the people. It tends to break with the accursed barrack-like past where a specific group of citizens, detached from and in opposition to the people, was drafted, trained, and armed for the special task of following a military profession. The participation of soldiers in the militia involves a radical re-education of the soldiers into citizen militiamen, a re-education of the population of smug residents into citizen militiamen. Democracy will remain an empty, lying phrase, or merely a half measure, unless the entire people is given the immediate opportunity to learn how to handle arms. Without the systematic, constant, and widespread participation of the soldiers in the militia, the people will never learn how to use arms efficiently." Lenin goes on to say a paragraph later, "Participation in the militia is one of the cardinal and basic principles of democracy, one of the most substantial guarantees of freedom. We might add parenthetically that there is no better way of enhancing the purely military strength and capacity of the army than by substituting the universal arming of the people for the standing army, and by using the soldiers to instruct the people. This method has ever been used and ever will be used in every truly revolutionary war. Immediate, unconditional, universal organization of a people's militia and unlimited participation of soldiers in that militia, this, we hold, is of the greatest importance to the workers, peasants, and soldiers. That is to say, to the vast majority of the population, the majority that is not interested in safeguarding the profits of the landowners and the capitalists." Well, and Lenin quote now. So some would argue that Lenin was speaking only of drafted soldiers. as he does at one point refer to them as such. However, that is because drafting or conscripting soldiers is how it was done for so long. As time has passed, the ruling class of some countries, including the United States of America, in order to subdue resistance to war and anti-war sentiments spreading throughout the population, have cleverly evolved and created all-volunteer armies. Many, including myself, would argue that there is, however, still a draft, an economic draft, that uses economic pressure to draft its troops. But even if I'm wrong, even if there is no economic draft, this argument isn't even really important to what Lenin was fundamentally saying. This argument, to me, does not adequately address the benefits and importance that Lenin recognized of soldiers and the movement, both in re-educating themselves and in providing skills and knowledge that Lenin pointed out. It is not important if the soldiers were drafted or not. That has little to do with Lenin's analysis. So important it was to Lenin that soldiers participated that he said it was a cardinal and basic principle to democracy. There is no such thing as American exceptionalism. So why would there be an American exception to the necessity of soldiers that will, in Lenin's words, ever will be used in every truly revolutionary war? Let me know what you think in the comments, comrades. If you agree or disagree, I'm always open for criticism. If you like the videos, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more Marxist and anti-fascist content, and share it with your social media. Thank you so much. Red salute.